Hey everyone, this should be an interesting stream because of how relatable it is for me. The name of this video that we're going to play is a criminal showed up at my house and threatened me. And I'm just like, relatable. So if you guys don't know who this is a guy. Let me try to get me on the other side. Now I don't think that's going to work. We'll do that. So this is Thoughts of a Patrol Officer. He also runs... Don't say I'm muted. You can't do that. God. But yeah, this guy, Thoughts of a Patrol Officer, he also runs, I believe it's Columbus Area Body Cam. But all's good. Shiz just banned my account on multiple platforms. No biggie. I will just get the message. It is what it is, and good luck on your fight. But this guy, again, this was relatable for me because, again, Josh, I had a short conversation with him yesterday during a stream where he tried to bring up the fact that me telling smaller creators coming up in this area, do not... Please slow down the chat. Okay, I'll slow down the chat real quick. But yeah, I just basically told him, hey, people coming up smaller than me, larger than me, I don't tell them to give out any type of information, specifically because people like Josh tend to do, how many minutes are we in? 2 minutes? Nonsensical fuck shit, if you will. That's what Josh did. That's what this guy's going to do. You're going to also realize that this guy, from what it's described, is like on the fringe of being a frauditor. And he's already got a domestic conviction, so he's well on his way to being a frauditor if he's not already. Sorry, I'm trying to slow this down in the background. Hopefully 15 seconds slowed down is okay. If need be, I will slow it down further later in the stream. Right now, there's only 40 people here. My brother's keeper, what's up? So yeah, we're just going to jump right into this. Well, let me jump to the beginning. Go give him a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed over there. Tell him I sent you, and here we go.
Okay, so the month of August has been an interesting month at the Officer Ben household. I have a story for you today about the time that I had a convicted criminal, a man who was out on bond for multiple felony charges, decide to slide by my house and threaten me. I don't really know the right way to format this video, so I think what we're going to do is I'm just going to sit here and tell you the story about what happened in the most honest and clear way that I know how to do it, and I'm going to give you some information about the guy that came to my house and threatened me. This occurred... Let's see, at the time of this recording, it's almost 2 weeks ago now. It was on August the 17th, 2024 at 9:21 a.m. I was in my house. My wife and oldest daughter had just left the house to go to a soccer tournament. And this guy in the red SUV in front of my house, who is a convicted criminal, and he's out on multiple felony counts, out on bond right now on multiple felony charges, decided to drive by my house and threaten me. He did it on video, and my neighbor was standing outside of his vehicle and heard him. Who was the criminal that decided to drive by my house and threaten me? Whoops, wrong picture. It was none other than Wolf Bro. Wolf.
So if you guys watch his channel, he's covered him on the Body Cam channel, I believe, before. But if you did see the beginning of this live stream, the short clip is from when Josh actually came to my home. And unlike this case, he actually got out to make the threats. And then he ended up running, but that's, I digress.
Wolf Bro is a guy named Justin Higgins. And I'm going to go through a brief history of Justin Higgins and my relationship with Justin Higgins, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on here. In November of 2020, I'm pretty sure it was November of 2020, Justin and his wife were having some kind of disagreement. It escalated to the point where Justin's wife ran out of the house, called 911, and made a domestic violence accusation against Justin. The officers responded. They heard what she had to say. They issued an arrest warrant for Justin. They went to the house. He refused to come out, and that turned into a SWAT barricade. Justin was eventually arrested for domestic violence. His wife was issued a protection order. Now, I don't have the page up. I probably should have done that in preparation, but you know what? I'll go ahead and do that now. We'll pause the video. Alrighty, and I am back. Now, Justin, or Wolfbro, as I like to call him on my channel, this guy right here, he has a Facebook page called Limitless Video Productions. And this Facebook page, if you look at the like count right here, has just under 20,000 likes. Now, when Justin's wife filed for a protection order against him, she told the court, she said, listen, my husband has a Facebook page that has almost 20,000 local followers on it. And I am concerned that he is going to tell his followers to come to the house, harass me, spy on me, all of those other things. So I would like something to be put in the protection order saying that he's not allowed to post on his Facebook about me, make comments about me, or anything like that. The judge actually granted that part, of the protection order. So Justin's wife had a protection order that says he was not allowed to go to her house, be within 500 feet of the house, send anyone in the house, have any communications with her, or make posts on social media about her.
So I would like to see almost everyone who fraudsters harass get a protection order against them. And I would like to see officers just starting to round them up once they break that protection order. Oh, yeah, Bandit. It's not that I try to be fair. It's that I intentionally go out of my way to not have an echo chamber because it doesn't do anything. I'm not for like Broken System, Broken Trust yesterday kept timing everyone that was against him out so that like the 3 people that were actually there for him could just pat him on the back for being a homeless deadbeat dad. Like, that's just weird to me. Have random people pat you on the back because that's the only people you allow in your chat. It's very strange. Very strange.
I don't have his clerk's page up right now, but over the last 4 years,
yo, KTZ's here.
Justin's now ex-wife has called the police, I don't know, probably close to 100 times because she was concerned that he was violating the protection order. And somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 times, officers agreed that he was violating the protection order by posting about her on social media, making comments about her on social media, or by posting pictures of her and the children on social media, and also refusing to delete those posts once he had been arrested. So that got to the point where he was actually charged with, and there were some other things that he did, but he was eventually charged with felony violation of protection order, a couple counts of that, stalking, and intimidation of a witness. At some point last year, I think it was towards the end of last year, he actually pled guilty to intimidation of a witness. Now, what does this have to do with me and have to do with him? The thing about Justin is he's one of those people that is a sociopath. He can lie on command, and he refuses to accept responsibility for his actions, blaming everybody but him for what's going on. Now, since I run this YouTube channel and I collect body camera footage from the Columbus Police Department and post those videos online, I've posted multiple videos of him being arrested because he likes to go out and live stream, and often while he's live streaming, he gets arrested by the police. This has led him to come up with this conspiracy saying that I have been filing warrants for his arrest in order to get him arrested so I can then use those videos on YouTube to make myself rich.
That is the worst conspiracy theory of all time. Navy girl, did you see that auditing Manton doxed a police officer, his address, wife, and extended family while having a restraining order in place? This is going to sound terrible, but I think if you dox people like that and put women and children in danger, you belong in a, what is those things called? A wood chipper. So that's what I think about that.
His perspective. We'll go over why that's kind of foolish here in a little bit.
Making false narratives about it, including, unfortunately, the officer that took his private life and used his badge in this conduct, you know. He's writing the warrants so he can get the video and post them up for money. Sick, dude.
But the fact of the
And I'm just gonna let me do it this way real quick because it's just better for me. If that was the case, someone could verify that and be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's doing this. But seeing as how this guy has no evidence of that taking place, even though it's extremely easy to prove, and I don't know if you guys are aware of how warrants work, judges have to sign those puppies. You've watched enough goddamn sovereign citizen videos. Judges have to sign those things. So you could put a absolute nothing burger up to a judge, and the judge would have to say yay or nay. So if a bunch of people are writing a bunch of warrants for this guy and the judges keep saying yes, it's clearly not fucking this guy.
To the matter is, he continues to say he has never done anything wrong, and that I, Officer Ben, have been setting him up, filing false reports all of this time in order to set him up to get him arrested. And he recently got a warrant for coming to my house and threatening me. And somebody went on his Facebook page and said, hey, why don't you turn yourself in? You never learn. His response to that, and that is his response to that in conjunction with his current arrest warrant, or the arrest warrant he had at the time, was to say, it's funny that you should mention that. The fat pig who generated the false report against Wolf is the very same piglet who was found guilty by the Department of Justice and Department of Inspector General for violating his rights, along with many other crimes. So he's saying that he's calling me the fat piglet that filed a false report against Wolf. And then he goes on to say that I've been found guilty by the Department of Justice for violating his rights. No, that's not true. No. I've never been investigated by the Department of Justice. Never been found guilty of violating anybody's rights. He's full of shit. He's just lying. But
this guy has, again, it's Columbus Area Body Cam, I believe, and this channel. This channel has 13,000 subscribers. The other one has like 300,000 subscribers. If this guy was dirty in any way, a frauditor would have doxed this guy and all of his records. But again, because that didn't happen, that's a red flag, especially since a guy's calling himself Wolf.
He's doing is he's refusing to take responsibility for his actions and trying to say that I'm filing a false report. Well, here's the problem, Wolf. You came to my house and you threatened me, and it's on video, and I have a witness. There is absolutely no way in hell you can go out and say that I filed a false report in order to get you arrested. You are out on bond on multiple felony charges. There's absolutely no reason that you had to come to my house and threaten me. I did absolutely nothing to cause you to come to my house and threaten me. You did this all of your own volition. You did this because you wanted to. You did this because you wanted to scare me. You wanted to intimidate me. You wanted me to be fearful. That is why you did this. And it is on video with witnesses. So in order to kind of clear the air on all of that and prove to the world that I'm not filing a false report on Wolf, let's go through the video. So like I said, this was on August 17th, 2024 at 9:21 a.m. My wife had just left the house literally 2 minutes prior to this. Justin came by and threatened me. The video picks up when he's in front of my truck in front of my house. I wish that it would have picked up sooner, but at that time, the settings I had on my camera wouldn't have picked up his vehicle. So they didn't pick it up until he was about in front of my house. I have since changed the settings on my camera, so it actually will pick up almost all the way down the street. It should pick up motion. And I'm getting alerts all day and all night long every time somebody comes and goes from their driveway in my neighborhood. I had to make that change because I want to make sure that Justin isn't doing this anymore, or at least that he won't be able to do it once he gets out of jail. So what happened just prior to the video that you're going to see here is he actually pulled up and stopped in the middle of the road. My neighbor is out here putting something in the trunk of his vehicle. You can see, I don't think I can blow this up anymore, but you can see my.
So J-Car, yes, 1000%. That's exactly it. In situations like this, again, because fucking relatable for me, Let me just double check something real quick. Got to see if that's real BSBT or fake BSBT, and that is the good BSBT. So, yeah, in situations like this, obviously, there's no way, shape, or form in any realm, in any time, that I would be scared of Josh. I don't think Officer Ben would be scared of this guy either, but it's the fact that we can't be around 110% of the time. Like, turns out my children have to go to school. And he already threatened the school. So it's like, can you not? But yeah, we are nowhere near terrified of the people that are stopping by for our own safety, but it's for the safety of others.
My neighbor is actually looking over at him. I think I have that in the picture. We'll get Justin's face off of the screen here, right here. Yeah, I can blow this up. So you can actually see that my neighbor here is looking over his shoulder at that vehicle. Why is my neighbor looking over his shoulder at that vehicle? Because just prior to that, Justin had stopped a little bit closer to where my neighbor was, looked at my house, and then looked at my neighbor, and he said, "I'm going to kick his fucking ass," pointing at my house. My neighbor looked back. He was like, "What is this guy's problem?" He thought it was strange, obviously, as anybody else would. So he's watching the vehicle as it drives by my house. The next thing that's going to happen is Justin's going to blare his horn to make sure that I knew he was out there, or make sure that everybody knows he was serious, or maybe just to be as obnoxious and annoying as possible. And that's what you're going to see here. So he drives by the house, blares the horn, continues to drive down the road. Now, I want to direct your attention to my neighbor over here, who is still working in the back of his car, because he was looking out at Justin, and then he turned away to continue doing what he was doing, and then Justin blares his horn, and he's thinking,
fake BSBT for $2. Ain't no party like a no panty party, which is almost something Josh would say.
What just happened there? So then he comes out of the car, he's looking down there, he's like, that was really strange. Like, why would somebody do that to Officer Ben's house? He's thinking about it for a minute. Then he looks over at the camera that's right about here, right on my garage between the vehicles, looks back down the road, then he looks back up the camera again, and you can see Justin's vehicle is still on my street. The reason he is doing all that, because I had just installed this camera about a week prior. So for all I know, Justin's been coming by my house for weeks and threatening me, but I was unaware of it because it didn't have cameras out at the time, and none of my neighbors were outside to witness it or to report it to me. But the Sunday prior to this incident, I had just finally installed this camera. I'd owned it for a little while, but I didn't have proper drill to drill through the...
Vince, this is Officer Ben. He runs a channel called, dear Lord, Thoughts of a Patrol Officer and Columbus Area Body Cam. He just had the same incident happen to him that happened to me. What was it? November 2nd, October 9th, 2022. I only know because I had to go and look for that video today. But yeah, he's good. He's good.
The masonry on my house, it's a brick front house. I had to drill through the brick. You know how that stuff goes. I had to get a hammer drill. When I installed that camera, my neighbors on both sides were actually at our house. I installed it, looked on my phone immediately. I was like, that is really good footage. That is awesome. So I went over and I showed my neighbors. I'm like, hey guys, I just installed a camera. Look at the footage. Look how crystal clear that is. And look how far you can see. They both commented on how great the footage was. And I told them both, I'm like, yeah, there's this guy that lives in the neighborhood. He's got it out for me, and I'm afraid he's going to come by the house and do something. So I'm going to put this camera up. And they both said, okay, well, we'll keep an eye out. Well, on this particular Saturday when this happened, my neighbor, who is currently looking directly at my camera, he said, you know what? That guy that just came by the house and threatened my neighbor, that's probably the guy that he was talking about when he installed that camera. So he sent me a text. He asked if I was home and if I wanted to come over and talk. So I went over and talked to him, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I was out, you know, we're going to repeat that story. I was out loading some stuff into my car. Some guy drove by and stopped kind of in between our houses, looked at me and said, I'm going to kick that guy's fucking ass, and then drove on. He described him as a white guy with dirty blonde hair, kind of a couple of days of growth on his face, driving this piece of crap red Jeep Cherokee. I immediately knew who he was talking about. I knew he was talking about Wolf Bro. Part of the reason for that is because I drive by Wolf Bro's mother's house on a daily basis, just on my course of business to get out to like a main road out near my house. I literally have to drive by her house probably every day, sometimes multiple times per day. And I've seen this red Jeep outside of the house, and I've seen Justin milling around that red Jeep. Every time I drive by the house, I'm always concerned that he's going to notice me, throw something at my car, something like that. But luckily, he's not usually paying attention, and I've never had a confrontation with him.
I just want to point something out real quick, that this is the greatest setup to never have anybody sneak up on you on your road. He is like right at the end of a bend where he can see up both sides of the street.
But I knew there was a high likelihood that that's who it was he was talking about. So I pulled up my camera. I looked and I saw this Jeep. I then called the police, because that's what you're supposed to do when somebody comes to your house and threatens you. The police came out to the house. They gathered a statement for me, told them my neighbor saw the whole thing and that he could identify Justin. They went over and spoke to him. They got a good description of him. They then called some detectives. Detectives came out to the house. They went and spoke to my neighbor, and they presented my neighbor with a photo array. If you're not familiar with what a photo array is, here it is. So the officer calls up.
I was hoping not to address this because I hate both of them so very much. So if you guys don't know, the angry vet was found guilty of like a gajillion charges. I believe what it was, several of them were felonies, both federal and state. But he claims, let me get this right here, he's a U.S. Navy disabled Gulf War combat vet, HMC FMF, 2 tours with a Marines unit / Coast Guard vet who only served 10 to 12 years total. Yeah, I've asked him for his record. I've seen other people ask him for his record. He doesn't give that out. For what reasons, I'm not sure, but his record seems sketch to me at best.
Up and speaks to a detective and says, hey, Ben believes that this was Justin Higgins, Wolf Bro, who came by his house and threatened him. We have a neighbor that says he can ID him. Would you guys be willing to come out and do a photo array? So the detective that was on the phone pulls up Justin Higgins' mugshot. Says, all right, I got a picture of him. I'll go ahead and put together a photo array. He uses other people's mugshots, and this is done through an algorithm and software programming and stuff like that. He just queries the computer to find a bunch of people that look similar to him. They then put them all on a sheet of paper. They print it off. They bring it out to the witness, and the detective that doesn't know which picture is the suspect then presents that to the witness and says, hey, here is a picture. One of these men is the suspect that Officer Ben named to us. Can you tell me if the guy that you saw driving that vehicle making that threat is on that picture? And, you know, this is what it looks like. So you get a bunch of guys that look very similar. And I think this one might even be the same guy, like top, bottom, different ages. I'm not quite sure. I didn't do a lot of research into this particular photo array. I just Googled photo array. But my neighbor went ahead and circled one. Let's say it's number 2 here.
I just want to say that number 3 looks like a beaver.
He circled him and he said, that's the guy. I'm 100% sure that's the guy. So he circles it, writes his initials on it, and the detective says, okay, thank you. You can go inside now. We're done. He walks back over to the officers that are at my house, and the detective that knew who the suspect was shows him which one the witness, my neighbor, selected. And as it turns out, he selected this guy right here, Wolf Bro. So I now have an incident that was captured on video with a witness and a positive identification. Please tell me how you can say that this fat pig who generated a false report, please tell me how that is a false report. It's kind of funny because Wolf Bro is a guy who's been arrested almost 20 times, or at least he's been charged around 20 times over the last 4 years for domestic violence, domestic violence, violation of a protection order, stalking, and intimidation of a witness. He's currently out on bond, or at least at the time he was currently out on bond for those charges. Was awaiting felony trial that he has in October. I believe his trial is October. All he had to do to remain free is not make threats against anybody, not harass anybody, not stalk anybody, not try to intimidate anybody. But he was unable to do that. He had to drive to my house, make an overt act to make sure that he was seen, because he had to go ahead and blare on his horn and all that other stuff, draw attention to himself, threatening me, causing himself to get arrested. He was arrested on August the 23rd, 2024, I believe around 3:30 in the afternoon. He is still locked up. The judge initially gave him a $250 bond, but unfortunately the bond on his felony cases was revoked. So now, in order for him to get out of jail, he's going to have to come up with somewhere in the area of $100,000. So he's going to be spending probably several weeks in jail awaiting his trial on a misdemeanor count of threats of violence, all because he was unable to control himself.
This is where I think I talked about this in a stream a while ago, where the bond system is broken. If this guy has that many charges pending over the last 4 years over the exact same shit, he should be sitting in jail, wasting away.
Another funny thing that happened on that particular day, let me pull up this picture here. So this probably took a couple hours for the officers to come out, interview me, interview my neighbor, come out and do the photo array. The sergeant on scene asked if I would like to have guard duty on my house while I'm waiting for Justin to be picked up on his warrants. And I said, you know what? I would like to have guard duty on my house. That would make my wife and kids feel a lot safer. So the sergeant called and they had guard duty set up on my house. While they were waiting for officers to come out and take up these guard duty positions that you're looking at right now, the sergeant was actually kind of parked out here in the middle of the road, and the lieutenant was over there. And we were just out there kind of shooting the shit. I had actually walked out to their cars and was leaning in the window of one of their vehicles, just talking to them. Remember, this car wasn't here. It was actually back here. So we were kind of unable to this end of the street. My wife was inside and she comes running out of the house. She's like, babe, he's right there. Like, that's him right there, right? Because she looked out the window and she saw this vehicle parked in this driveway right next to this black car. She said, that was him. And I backed up. I looked. I was like, that is him. I tell the sergeant and lieutenant, he's literally right there in that driveway. He effectively has a warrant now, even though it hasn't been filed. Can you guys go get him? Justin, who was parked in this driveway watching us, must have observed my wife running out to the car and saying something, observed me pointing at his vehicle. He backed out, took off at a high rate of speed. And by time the guys in these cruisers actually got the vehicles in drive and took off after him, he was speeding out of sight, and this crime doesn't fit into the city of Columbus's pursuit policy. So that's something good for you to know, is that you can go to a police officer's house and threaten him and his wife and kids, and it won't fit into the city's pursuit policy. So that's always fun. But regardless of the fact, he took off. So they then had two instances of him showing up on one day, which caused me to go and get a protection order while he was out. So I went to the court. I filed for a protection order. I was actually granted an emergency stalking protection order because he showed up multiple times in one day. The judge agreed that was a pattern. And
so I keep saying, I think I've talked about this. This is why I believe Josh won't come back or hasn't come back, because in Michigan, you have to do it more than once to fit into the Michigan stalking statutes. And I believe that's why he won't come back, because he would be facing this exact thing.
We're going to go ahead and make that a stalking protection order. I had to go to court, this past Monday. And while I was at court, waiting because he had been arrested. It was my belief, and this is how it was described to me, that if he is arrested, they will serve him with his protection order in jail. And then when I go to the hearing, he'll either be there in person or they'll put him on like the TV screen. He'll be able to say some things on whether or not he thinks that this protection order should be granted, and then a judge will make a decision. I showed up at court. I was waiting out at the lobby, waiting for my name to be called, and I saw his mom show up, and she just walked into the doors where the courtroom. I've never been in this kind of situation before, so when I saw her walk out, I walked in as well, and I said, "Hey, are the doors open? Are we allowed to just come in?" And they said, "No. What's your name?" And I gave them my name, and it turns out he was in jail, but they didn't get the paperwork in order, so they didn't have him there, and it was going to have to be continued. And that's why his mom was there. She was there to make sure that the court knew he was locked up, he wasn't going to make it to court, and that it needed to be continued. The funny thing about his mom, and I've got a picture of her. Oh, I didn't bring it up. I've got a picture of her to show you. She has actually been on the channel before. That's Justin's mom. This is Wolf Bro's mom, Beth. You might remember Beth as the drunk woman who came to the door with a firearm and pointed it at a police officer and almost got herself killed. This is Beth Higgins, Justin Higgins' mother. She was at court that day, and as I walked into the room, she looks at me, she gives me this angry scowl. And I said, "Good morning, Beth. How are you?" She goes out the door, and when she's almost completely out of sight, she turns over like a coward, looks over her shoulder, and says, "You're a fucking piece of shit." And then she goes running out. Please, Beth, please explain to me why I am a fucking piece of shit. Because your husband, or your son, excuse me, who was arrested and charged with domestic violence after a SWAT barricade, violated a protection order something close to 20 times over the last 4 years, was found guilty of violating a protection order, guilty of intimidation of a witness, had stalking charges, and now has multiple felony counts of violation of protection order. Please, and then he comes to my house and threatens me. Please explain to me how that makes me a piece of shit. If you would ask me, the person who's a piece of shit is the one that is threatening the victim in this case. It's true. I'm a victim in this case. I was at my house minding my own business, and your son couldn't help himself. He is a sociopath, a liar, and he just couldn't help himself, had to come to my house and threaten me. I didn't do anything wrong in this case. This is not my fault. This is your son's fault. And I would go ahead and go as far to say, this is your fault because you raised him.
I was hoping he wasn't going to say anything. Yeah, this is 100% her fault. The fact that she's blaming anyone else but her and her son is fucking ridiculous to me. Like, at what point do you raise a crazy person, allow him to get away with crazy shit, and then go, "Hey, his victim, this is your fault"? It's just like weird. Like he said, he came to my house twice on the same day. How's that my fault? That's how I feel about Josh. I did absolutely nothing wrong except for cover criminals in my area. And he took offense to being exposed and decided he was going to threaten me and my children. Like, it's crazy.
He is a product of your raising, Beth. You're the piece of shit. Just want to get that out there. Now, we're going to change gears very briefly because I want to go through kind of some of his stuff that he's been saying about me for years and make sure that it's all in the same place, all in the same video. And we're just going to get this all out in the open. So this video I have right here, this is actually body camera footage from him calling the police and wanting to file a fraud report and listing me as the suspect. He makes a lot of allegations against me, saying that I'm filing false warrants for his arrest, yada, 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 saying that I'm doing it for profit. The part that you're going to see right here is him just telling a bold-faced lie that is very easy for me to disprove. Saying that the first video I ever put up of him on my channel got 5 million views and made $50,000. Let's listen to him make that comment right now.
6 videos, yeah.
So that's
His first video had
that
5 million
that's
views,
already
$50,000.
that sounds like that's already
All right, so said the first video that I ever put up of him got 5 million views and made $50,000. Well, here's the thing, Justin. The internet is right here for everyone in the world to see. This is the first video that I ever put up of you. I put it up on February 1st, 2021, but it was an incident that I can't remember when the incident happened. But it was before I'd ever met him, ever dealt with him, ever done anything with him, ever met his wife or anything. I'd never responded to his house. I didn't know anything about the guy other than that he runs this Facebook page called Limitless Video Productions, and he was live streaming on this particular Facebook page when he was arrested. So I went ahead and requested the body camera footage for this video. It takes several months for them to get me the footage, so this probably happened in like October, November. You can see it's chilly, so everyone's wearing coats. I don't know, but it happened in late 2020. I got the video, I posted it. Look at the views. 24,000 views. You guys just heard him right here saying the first video I ever posted to him got 5 million views and made me $50,000.
So that's
His first video
you know,
had
that
5 million.
That's already
$50,000.
that's
Yeah. So 5 million views, $50,000. That's what he is saying. This video got 24,000 views, and it certainly did not pay me $50,000. But at the end of the day, and I think I've already rambled on for almost 30 minutes, it's very clear that there's something wrong with Justin. Justin has a problem following the rules. Justin has a problem accepting responsibility for his actions. Justin thinks that everybody else is to blame for the stuff that he is doing. He's been trying to convince the public of that for years. It just so happens that this time he did it on video with independent witnesses that were able to identify him. There's absolutely no way that he's going to get out of this one, and it's absolutely impossible for him to try to blame this on me. I think that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.
But yeah, so that's his channel, Thoughts of a Patrol Officer. If you're not already subscribed over there, go and do that. Really great page. But that's all I wanted to show. I just wanted to show that, again, I talked to Broken System, Broken Trust briefly. Sorry, I'm just like completely out of it currently. Talked to him yesterday during that debate live stream with Frauditor Troll for like, I think 10 minutes. And he was wondering why I don't incentivize people because I'm not paying them or anything. I just tell people, hey, when people like Josh or people like the drama side ask for personal details, don't give them your personal details because they will try to harm you. And yeah, this is why. Can you link that channel? Possibly. Let me see what I can do for a second. But yeah, it's just a thing. Tried to show why crazy people knowing where you live, dangerous people knowing where you live, anything about you isn't the best idea. Trying to do this, got to pull this up on my page, got to bring this down. Stop sharing. Thoughts of a Patrol Officer. My live stream. There we go. Finally muted myself. There we go. You still think BSBT should change his channel name to Dancing Monkey? That'd be solid. And there we go. Link is sent. No, last night there was a debate. Erica, I don't know if you want to link her channel. It was Frauditor Troll versus Broken System, Broken Trust. And then I came up pretending I was Paul Enslaved. Josh got excited. Then I flipped on my camera and he got quite flustered. It was a pretty one-sided me telling Josh things and then Josh trying to say, but, like he normally does and doesn't want to answer questions. But yeah. Yeah. LIA has done it not only to Trey, the security guard, but the police chief of whatever county he had beef with or whatever city he had beef with, where he showed up in the middle of a workday knowing that it was just going to be the police chief's wife there. And then DMA also did it where he went to an officer's home. It's just like, stop doing this. Like, just stop. Well, if you want to watch it, jump to about an hour and 5 minutes. That's when I pop up, shit on Josh, and then he runs off. That part was pretty fun. Oh, God, let's see here. He went before a stupid civilian oversight committee for racially profiling a black kid. They played the body cam of the white kid he was talking to. They said it didn't matter to them. I'm going to say this now, and a few people are going to get upset at me. Civilian oversight committees are dumb and mainly made up of racists. I'm just going to drop that. Like where I worked, one of the guys that was on it, him and his wife or girlfriend would beat on each other, get arrested for domestic. Yet they were the ones trying to pass judgment on police officers after he just says a bunch of racist stuff on Facebook. And it's like, you're probably not the one that should be saying yay or nay to police officers. Nassau County, that's what it was. Josh rode away on his Huffy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Josh can afford a Huffy. Whatever Walmart brand Huffy is, that's what Josh has. James Stern, yes. Josh, it's funny. I say Josh, but they were literally Josh versus Josh. Frauditor Troll Josh was pointing out that Josh, I don't think he realized that Josh was almost 50 years old and has literally done not shit with his life besides be a bad human being. He wanted to hit that home, and then Josh kept trying to like change the subject or deflect to something else. It's kind of weird. KFAR, I always follow the rules. I never go to any frauditors channel and harass them after you highlight them. However, I may swing by their channels and provide them solid adulting advice. And that's fine. You know, you're not harassing them. You're just trying to help them out. People have always said, oh, you send people to go harass them. I can go tell them they're dumb myself. Like, I don't need other people to help me. Yvonne Kush Queen gifted 10 memberships. Thank you. Oh yeah, he thought I was Paul Enslaved. I did that great. I put my name as Paul Enslaved. I went and got Paul's picture from his YouTube, put that as my little logo thing. He got super Paul, and then I flipped on my camera, and that was a good wake-up call for him. If you guys also realize that my community post last night was about Josh when he tried to, we've gone back and forth on which is better for your health. Drinking a fourth of that specific glass of that specific whiskey once a week, maybe, is better for your health than doing meth. And Josh tries to argue that, which I find very strange. Okay, it's the answer. Sandy's a maniac. Yeah, Paul. I think I've seen Paul talk to 2 actual attorneys. Didn't go well. So now he keeps a very close, I don't want to call it an echo chamber because I don't know if he blocks people. But the people he has on panel, oh, God. It's like Andrew Tate, don't like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate hangs out with other Andrew Tate type people. Tall, jacked, decent looking, rich. Paul is like the Dollar Tree version of Andrew Tate, except for he only hangs around with people that are like him, where they're like fugly looking losers that allow Paul to talk down to them for what reason no one really knows. But Josh was like, why don't you go up on Paul's channel and debate him? What's there to debate? He's lost, I believe, 2 or 3 debates to actual attorneys. Like, I feel like it would just be beating a dead horse at that point. Yeah, Bandit, if you're throwing around $150 to random people, like, hey, how you doing? J. Carr, I'm not shocked by that. I'm not shocked at that at all. I believe he was living off his father at some point, so it's just weird. He's the clearance bin at Goodwill. Yeah, Josh finds weird people to, like, hang to. Not hang with, just like hang on. Because from what I've seen, Paul doesn't even really like Josh. He talks shit to Josh all the time. It's very weird. No, that's fake BSBT. That's the good one. He super chatted $2. He's good. No. Paul makes Andrew Tate look like the Gucci version of Andrew Tate. That's how bad Paul looks when he does all this nonsense. Like, you should see some of the people he has up on panel, and it's like, how are you even breathing on your own? And then Paul wants to call him a beta or something, and it's like, stop it. I have 157 people listening to me rant about a dollar store. Andrew Tate. Let's see here. Does the real BSBT have $2? Seeing as how let's just say I have a good idea of where he lives. I don't know if $2 would even. Probably not. These are the friends that help him. Yeah, I want to start doing panels again, where like random panels, not my own panels, but like back in the day where at night I would just go through and hit up a bunch of panels in the chat, up on panel, yada, yada. And even though I decided I'm still not going to go to Paul's chat. Is that the coffee cup you're selling? No, this was Robert's coffee cup because he was into all things scary. 1 second. I can fix this. Let me go to my own page. And because who was it at the very beginning that said something about me being muted? Now I'm like paranoid and keep having to look to make sure I'm not muted. Oh, I released a video today at 5 o'clock regarding a sovereign citizen. If you guys want to go watch that after this, that would be swell. All right, let's see here. Oh, also, KTZ, I have a request from someone in the chat from this video, or from my video that I'm going to release tomorrow. It's about a Moorish lady who tried to piss herself in an attempt at getting out of a ticket for running a red light. At some point in the video, I said, "Get bent, old lady," and somebody said they want a t-shirt that says, "Get bent, old lady." So apparently that's a thing now. J-Car, I could go on and on about that type of stuff because it's so... Oh, God. Like, do I believe that some people you gravitate towards as leaders? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is Paul Unslaved one of those people? Absolutely fucking not. He's like that person that, like, you join the military. There's like an unspoken hierarchy of like, hey, you're a good leader. Hey, you're a good leader. And then some people who are like, can you go clean the toilet with a grocery bag because that's all you're qualified to do? That would have been Paul's job. Yeah, I got heated during that video because it was just so dumb. Like, I've heard of dumb excuses. She pissed herself and then decided she was going to claim they inappropriately touched her after she got out of the car and ran to her trunk after being a week after a Moor executed a cop. Like, well, I couldn't say eat my shorts. That one's taken. That's what I was going to do. Let me show this real quick, and then I can get out of here. This is thy merch store, compliments of KTZ. We got 2 kinds of coffee cups, and those coffee cups come in many colors. I like both coffee cups. And if I was going to pick one of these cool shirts, you know what? I don't know which logo I like better. Probably the black one because that fits my personality. Dark, and I hate everyone. But yeah, I'm going to go with this one. This is probably my favorite coffee cup. But it comes in many colors. Let's see here. Many, many, many colors. Pink, red, black. But yes. Wait. J-Car. Did you see she was on American Idol and did well? From Idol to More in a year. I did not know that. yeah, I don't understand. Like, this is what always baffles me at this point. Absolutely baffles me. Body cams are so prevalent. Dash cams are so prevalent. If any of these things actually happened, it would be on one of those cameras. And if there were several officers there, like she claimed, it would be on one of their cameras. And shockingly, nothing popped up. Crazy how that works. Brutal Bob, what's up? You caught the tail end. Well, JCar, I'm about to need a long sleeve because this is going to be some weird shit because Michigan is Michigan. So we've got the weather today. This is the weather. Yesterday it was 85. Today was a high of 70. And then Sunday, the low is 43. So we're having a 40-degree drop in 3 days. So I'm going to need long sleeve shirts just to turn into 85 Wednesday again. It's very strange. But all right. If anybody's, I don't even know. Let me check something real quick so I can maybe send you guys there to go raid them. I don't think you guys care. Artie is still live, and Colin definitely not. Cromwell is live, and Law Talk with Mike is live. So wherever you go, tell them I sent you. But yeah, I'm off. I'm gonna go. Why don't you use the KFR coffee cup? Are they defective? Handles break off? No, I don't have any of my own merch yet. The KFR has been on Struggle City the last 2 months. To the point where I'm drinking like Kroger coffee. But yeah, everybody have a good rest of your day. Go raid. What was it? Law Talk with Mike. Colin, definitely not Cromwell or Artie. Tell him I sent you. Be safe. If you see him more, run. And I might live stream again tomorrow because I have to cover Lick the Whole Booth video on Chris that I was going to cover a few days ago, but ran out of energy.